talking about the issues of court, this week, the NDC put out a recording or in furtherance to the previous week's position that they took, that indeed they had evidence against the Attorney General seeking to have the third accused, Richard Jakpa, put up a testimony that would implicate the first accused in ways that have been described as questionable and unethical. Now, why don't you take a look at first of all, the NDC's press conference addressed by the national chairman of the party, Johnson Esiedu Nketia, within the week. He showed the ambulances that were imported and the state in which these ambulances were in, and then also the medical equipment that were imported afterwards, indicating that they are actually still at the port, not cleared for whatever reason. Take a look.
The year 2015. So at this stage, on the screen are pictures of the exterior and interior of the ambulances as they arrived in the country. The empty throttle. These are the interior pictures of the empty throttles. It is clear from these pictures that the ambulances that were procured were not empty vans as claimed by dishonest Godfrey Odami and the MPP. I'm always ashamed because this is my brother from the same Wenchi district. In addition, a container load of medical equipment to be installed in these ambulances were shipped by Big C and arrived in the country around the end of 2016. Sadly, this medical equipment have been sitting at the Tema port for the last 8 years because this government, specifically the Minister of Health, which is the consignee, has refused to clear them, just so they can falsely claim that there were no equipment.
Expectation has loomed large over the shoulders of the opposition party following the announcement they had intercepted evidence against the Attorney General, Godfrey Odami, who, upon witness statement of the third accused in the ambulance purchase trial, was engaged in witness tampering to implicate the minority leader, Ato Forson. Even before the national chair would lay bare their facts, the party questioned the government's true intent in prosecuting the minority leader, insisting it was a move to gag him.
We firmly believe that the decision to take the minority leader and some others to court over this matter was born out of malicious, sinister, and wicked desire to silence him through unjust imprisonment, nothing more, nothing less. As we publicly stated from the very onset of this case, the timing and circumstances of this so-called prosecution shows that it was instituted mainly to intimidate and silence the then-ranking member of finance.
For the NDC, the actions of Godfrey Odami in the audio tape shared with the media was engaged in a...
So that's the NDC press conference this week. The audio that was played in its raw form, we would got some transcriptions as well. We will put out on the screen shortly. But right after that press conference, the NPP also addressed the press a number of things, indicating Henry Nana Boakye says, well, this was doctored and that there's an original of 26 minutes. And then also you had a number of persons suggesting that this is indeed a doctored tape. So is that to suggest that there is an original that we don't know about, that the NPP has? The NPP also had a press conference right after the press conference of the NDC on the same day. Take a look.
The NDC have since last week set in motion a malicious scheme fueled by lies, falsehoods, misrepresentations, blackmail, and needless pollution of the mass media, with the sole intention of obstructing the course of justice and scandalizing the criminal proceedings in the High Court, all in the bid to shield Atuforsen MP, minority leader in Parliament, and former Deputy Minister of Finance, and his associates from taking responsibility for authorizing some payments which resulted in a whopping sum of 3.27 million euros lost by the state, monies that belong to us all as Ghanaians. It is no secret that the NDC ever since the commencement of Atuforsen's prosecution has threatened rain and storm against government, the Attorney General, and any person they can find to cajole the Attorney General from discontinuing the prosecution. What?
Well, Frank Davis, who addressed the press conference, lawyer Frank Davis, who addressed the press conference by the NPP after Henry Nana Boakye spoke as well, the national organizer of the NPP. Well, the NDC put out some WhatsApp messages, screenshots, reported to be between Godfrey Dame, Attorney General, and Richard Jakba, the third accused, and the businessman representing Big C in this entire transaction. Now take a look at this. Tuesday, 9th of April, there was a voice call, and then it continues. But we go back to the 23rd of November. Says, bro, the case is adjourned to next week, Thursday. The man is still on admission, fighting for his dear life. That is in the second accused. And the person now replies, okay, thanks. Let's go to the next one. This is 17th of July, 2022. You see the Big C letters forwarded to the contact reported to be Godfrey Yeboah-Dame. Same document, 17th of July 2022. And then it goes on the 16th of February 2022, says, hope to hear favorably from you. A message reported to be from Richard Jakba. Then there's a reply, I will arrange through your brother. Then there's another message, says, I'm requesting for a time and venue at your convenience to meet you for a private discussion, please. I'm most grateful for that kind gesture from you. Hope to hear favorably from you, sir. This is a message that's reported to be from Richard Jakba to the Attorney General. In fact, after this, then a number of developments have taken place with Richard Jakba now through his lawyers writing that the case should be struck out, all the charges struck out. The Attorney General is challenging this. We'll come to that. But let's start off with this recording that was played this week. Nimako, all throughout the period, I mean, there hasn't been any denial that a conversation took place between the two persons in question. That's the third accused and the Attorney General on phone. That has not been disputed, right?
Thank you, Mr. Okansi. I think that we must approach this particular matter with a lot of sober heads. A lot of sober heads. Well, whether there has been a denial or not, I have not heard. I have not heard that the tape has been authenticated by anybody. I have not heard it came from only one side. Now, what is that we are dealing with?
You're saying that the tape was doctored.
I'm saying that the tape, as far as I'm concerned, has not been authenticated by anyone.
But
only from one side that has been thrown in the air.
Your party said that it's been doctored.
Yes, that is what they are saying. Now, let's approach this case. Listen to me carefully. What has brought us here is a case pending before a criminal court over an alleged causing financial loss to the state. We are told of some attempts or some overtures, or what we call a plea bargain. That plea bargain, we are told, along the line, wasn't acceptable by the Attorney General, and so therefore it failed. There were still continued overtures while the matter was still pending in court. We are aware, as far as the record is concerned, that the prosecution have closed their case. They have closed their case. And closing the case simply means that they've tendered all the exhibits and evidence that they want to tender in before the judge. Mm-hmm. And then there was a submission of no case, which was filed by the accused person and their lawyers. The court ruled upon the submission of no case and then said, there's a case for you to answer. One chapter is gone. At that stage, the burden now shifts upon the accused persons to now put a challenge to say that, well, in our view, even though you have made your case at the prima facie level, we think that we are still not liable. The first accused person, Mr. Honorable Keze Latoforsin, has also entered the dock, proffered his defense, tendered whatever he would tender, and closed his case. The second accused person, we are told that they entered another prosecution against that person. So therefore, the third accused person now is in the dock. Mm-hmm. He's now giving his testimony. We all know, as practitioners, that until those times when we go to court, you don't have benefit of what anybody is going to say. Now we all know. You file your documents, you change documents, you change all the exhibits, and then all parties know what every party is going to say ahead of time. Ahead of time, we all have the documents. Now, while the third accused person is in the dock, we are told there was an interjection by the Attorney General, and then he said he got upset and then said there are certain information or whatever it is that they've been meeting or whatever to contract evidence or whatever it is, and so he's going to put that information out there. The question I asked myself at the very beginning, this particular tape, which was recorded by Japa, quote or non-quote, if in his view, on the view of the lawyers, they felt that there was information there that would have helped or aided his case, why did they not put that tape as part of their evidence in chief? Because in any event, at the time when he was in the dock, this supposed tape we are talking about was in existence. The tape that Japa recorded Attorney General, so to speak, or quote unquote, whether it is, I say, unauthenticated tape, it was there. If in his view, he really believed that this tape will aid in his case, why did he not put this as part of his exhibits for the court to admit or not admit, and for the court to interrogate? And now, here we are confronted with an alleged supposed recorded tape by Japa, okay, put in the public domain, to sway all of us into the real call issues before the court. Let the public now follow the matter and say, well, it's probably it's persecution. It's not prosecution. How is it persecution, not prosecution? Mm-hmm. If indeed, in your view, the tape that you have recorded the person unknowingly, if indeed that tape it really exists, or that in plain public domain, why is it not part of your record before the court?
Have you listened to the tape?
I've listened to the tape.
Does it concern you?
All you hear, why not?
It concerns you?
Why not? Why not? It concerns me. All you hear is somebody talking, You don't even hear how the communication even started. Whether good morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, you don't even hear anything. Or you hear in the middle of a conversation, you hear somebody talking, and then you hear repetitions, and then it is paused. The secretary now comes in, hold on, wait, and then gives a voice over to explain to us. Why do you explain to us? I mean, let the natural thing flow. Let us all make an informed decision out of the tape. Okay? Now, why do you have to explain the tape to us? We don't have brains to understand what the tape is talking about.
What?
And then wait. And then they say, oh, the Attorney General was fortifying or no, was telling him how to what? Give his evidence. Or, yes. Where on the tape do you find that, Professor Jampo? What do you find on the tape? You see, so I said, let's follow this particular matter with sober heads. What you listen to the tape carefully. What you hear is that there's a disagreement about LC. It's about LC. It's a disagreement about LC. You don't hear the Attorney General saying that, go and say this and go and say that and go and say that and go and say that. You don't hear that.
You hear it.
No.
How do you hear that info? Please. Let me flow. You will flow. Let me flow. Now, what to me is intriguing and baffling is that now the court issued before the court.
I want to establish something. If you say you have listened to the tape.
Yes.
You've listened to the full complement of the tape.
No, the tape as put out by the NDC, which is supposed to be a conversation between the AG, an honorable AG, and Mr. Japa. Now, the question I want to find out from all of us, what was the intention of Japa by recording that communication, if indeed that's the truth of the tape? What was the intention? To record me, Jampo has called me, or I've called Professor Jampo, and we are talking, and he records my communication. What is the intent? To do what with the tape? To do what with the tape? To record, see? So because you have tried a plea bargain and it's not failing, and you say the person is a difficult person. He's a difficult person. He's not listening to you by agreeing to the plea bargain, ostensibly because why? They wanted to pay 2 million euros, okay, by the supplier, and then the case is discontinued. And they said no, the person who won't pay the 2 million euro is not a party in the case. And we all know a plea bargain is a party in the case without a plea bargain agreement. Now, if you're not a party in the case and say you will pay $2 million and the case is discontinued, and the force is not willing to enter a guilty plea, so we just discontinue the case because what? What if the money is not paid in a final analysis? What if?
It's not.
What if the money is not paid in the final analysis? So the question, you see, I'm saying that what they are doing here is diversionary tactics. Look, let the public not be swayed by this. There are germane issues before the court whether or not somebody's act or omission has caused financial loss to the state. That to me is what we should focus on. That means if you think that the AG has engaged itself in any matter, what you think is worth probing, it's a different matter altogether.
But you say that you've listened to the tape. The content of the tape concerns you. It raises concern for you. To the extent that until a certain allegation was made against Richard Jakpa, that he is putting out statements in court ostensibly to try and defend the first accused. That is what triggered all of this. You remember what happened in court last week, Thursday?
You see,
that is what triggered all of this. Then, a tape recording, in fact, a conversation, not a tape recording, a phone conversation that was recorded is put out, and you say that you have listened. I keep going back to I keep going back to the fact that if you've listened, because there are two positions there. Your party says that the tape is doctored, but they have a 26. You have a 26 minutes original tape. You haven't put that out. So we have no way of believing that narrative that the tape is doctored because you haven't put out anything to the contrary. I want to find out which one of them you listen to.
No, wait a minute. Which communication do you listen that all you hear is that somebody is talking? Which communication do you listen that all you hear is that there are voiceovers and the repetition or the same communication? Look, so if I call you or you call me, you will not even greet me. So the communication starts in the middle. You hear it in the middle of the discussion. Nothing starts from the beginning. How the whole thing started, it's taken away. Look, at the time when Mr. Japa was in the dock, if indeed this communication, from what I understand, is going on, it means the communication was there already.
Yeah.
It means it was there already. Now, if he thought with his lawyers that this communication will aid in his case, why did he not file this as part of his witness statement to tender in evidence? And we are all aware, as lawyers, that communication is privilege. And the Constitution is protected under the Constitution. You cannot request somebody communication without a person's knowledge. You can't.
No, but if there is crime, public safety, etc., you can record.
So where is the crime here now?
The Attorney General suborning the witness.
How did he suborn the witness?
He said he didn't even understand the site LC. The witness explained to him. They said, no, you answer it this way for me.
He didn't say that.
He said it.
He didn't say that.
He said,
okay. He said the theory. You see, Martin.
No, that's what I'm asking. If you actually listen to the full complement of the tape. Have you listened to the tape?
I am saying, I've said
that's politics, not law.
But can you record somebody without person's knowledge?
Yes, when there is crime. When there is public safety.
Okay.
Why is the crime?
Gentlemen.
Why was the crime here?
What is your evidence?
Gentlemen.
Why the crime here?
The crime. Section 2.
When you record somebody in the case of Kukubaji,
hold on.
Sabo case, and the Conclude.
Yes.
Record somebody with a taking of when you use this for evidence.
Yes.
What put in the dock?
Kukubaji, they said you can
I am
record.
saying that go and stop. Why don't you guys?
Wait.
See, Martin,
you conclude on me.
go and attempt to tender the this in evidence and see whether it is admissible.
Yes. So that is the we'll go there. The Supreme Court said case by case.
Martin,
Well, thank you.
Why are you not the one to go and be the lawyer for Mr. Japa? go and be his lawyer.
Yes, I'll do that for you.
And go and find an additional document and tender. Let us see. Look, listen. Mr. Kansi, I am saying that let us not be diverted as a country. Now, our attention is moving away from the real issues before the court. Whether or not somebody, by his action or deed or whatever, has caused a loss to the state. We are not looking at that one. We are now looking at diversion tactics. What is happening here is, to me,
Professional misconduct is also offense.
Yeah.
Professional misconduct is it tried in the media? Is it tried in the media?
Well,
Causing financial loss to
Is
the
it tried in the
state,
media?
Is it tried in the media?
Mr. Nimako, thank you.
Please, Mr. Kansi, let us not divert attention. Professor Jambo, the real issues before the court is whether or not somebody's act or omission has occasioned the state a financial loss, which the court is trying it. You see, this so-called tape and this and that and whatever they are saying, it will divert the attention of the court. Now, all this particular money we are talking here about, it is not part of the record of the court. Mr. Kansi, what is happening in the public domain by NDC press conference is not part of the record of the court.
But would the court be minded to take this into consideration going forward?
Why should the court be minded? That the court will sit in the courtroom and be looking at what is happening in the media and be making as part of the evidence before the court to rule on it?
Well, now Richard Jakpa, as you do know, has, through his lawyers, written to the courts to strike out the charges against him based on the details as put out in this tape. So it is of concern and consideration to the courts.
And are you aware whether they added the so-called tape with the affidavit? Are you aware?
But now, I think currently he is now saying that he wants to prove that, I think there's evidence to show that the president and Fuyata who actually put pressure that Forson should be tried, and that he wants to be.
Professor,
he wants to offer evidence.
Professor,
he wants to be given the opportunity to.
At the stage when, by way of procedure and partisan procedure, the submission of no case has failed. Okay, A1, as a Forson has entered the dock, mounted his evidence, close his case. You are also to also open your defense, and you are already in the dock, and you are saying that what? Somebody put pressure on somebody to prosecute you. What is the evidence?
He said he wants to.
So if that evidence should be part of a witness statement which he ought to file as a supplementary document, okay, to prove his case. Now look, for me, it's not going by affidavit. Not by affidavit. You must file a supplementary witness statement to put those documents in evidence. To let the court know that, yes, because of A, B, C, D, E, that is why you are saying this. But not by affidavit. Not by affidavit.
Let's put the transcriptions in part of the... I'll come to you. Let's also acknowledge the presence of Professor Kojo Apieje Etua. He's a associate professor of law at the University of Ghana Law School as well, joining us on this matter. Look at the various aspects of this conversation. Godfred Dame, on this tape, the Attorney General reportedly had saying, in my view, if we agree with the way I want to go about it, there will be no issues for you. Then the voice of Richard Jakpa on this tape is her saying, if I go by your way, frankly speaking, I will be dishonest. Now, this is it. And this is captured on the tape. Let's go on to the next. I know this is completely innocent about this. For example, Atufosin to be jailed because I knew something was wrong. Was not the way, and I decided to keep quiet and answer the question in a way for you to jail him. Continues. The contract is for 200 ambulances in tranches of 50-50-50-50. Then the voice purported to be that of the Attorney General. Response, hold on. So that contract of 50 ambulances is different from this one?
So now you see how I was telling you that that was when you wanted to get the clarity on the matter.
So the contract is one contract for 200 ambulances, which has been broken down. For every 50 tranche, you establish a letter of credit for every 50 tranche. So you have 4 letters of credit for the 200 ambulances. So the Attorney General didn't know this. Attorney General doesn't know how the LCs operate in this particular instance.
Let me tell you something.
So then, I'll conclude, and then you come. Let's see the next. You are not the Minister of Health. You are not the Minister of Finance. Attorney General purportedly had on the tape. Then, Jakpa. The problem I have is accepting that for you is that in their letters that confirm that both from government and from the principal, that is for every 50 ambulances. That confirms that, and now I will be tendering those letters in, so I cannot go against what the letters say. So it is in those, if you see the earlier WhatsApp screenshots, some letters were forwarded to the contact purported to be that of the Attorney General. So you don't see anything wrong in everything that's happened? Is it Nimako?
Yes. Gleaning from what you just put out there.
Which one of them?
All that you put out there. You will see. If you play the actual tape yourself, if you will hear that Mr. Jakpa kept going on and on and on and on and on and speaking on, and the AG kept quiet and listening. So I'm saying they were disagreeing on the issue of the LC. On the issue of the LC, there was disagreement. And you see, let's not make this mistake. And my very good brother, Roxin Defiamapo, he will agree with me that sometimes you are prosecuting the case. But I'm telling you, you may not have the full facts of the matter. Because the brief may not be with you. Listen.
I disagree with you.
Oh, you agree with me? Why? Why? Attorney General has the benefit of all the dockets in the AG office.
Yes.
All the dockets?
Yes.
Oh, please.
Those that he says.
Does he prosecute all the cases?
Those that he says with.
Okay.
You see, the bottom line that I want to make it clear here is that all these issues about contriving evidence and all those things is not reflected on the tape that we have listened.
Well,
it's not.